What's up, internet people, and welcome to the show, where I show you the things that happened around the world and online the past week. Remember, if you don't like what I'm talking about, there'll be an option right there in the top right hand corner of the screen to take you on a video TARDIS just a few seconds or minutes into the future, so you can view the next story. Or alternatively, if you're on a mobile, links as well as sources to all of this week's stories, as well as anything else I found to be interesting, can as always be found in the faux bar. Nandoandgabe. And so we go to our first story of the week. And that is, after a lot of imagining and a lot of bad sci-fi movies, Bionic-Eyes could actually be a thing. Currently, 2 different models are preparing to hit the European market, with a US launch planned for some time in the future. These implants can restore sight to completely blind patients, though only if the blindness is caused by a faulty retina, as with diabetic retinopathy, or other degenerative eye diseases including macular degeneration, which millions of people suffer from. The first of these implants, called the Argus 2, costs about €94,000 for a 4-hour surgery, during which an antenna will be installed behind your eye, and a special pair of camera-equipped glasses that will send signals to the antenna. The antenna is wired into your retina with around 60 electrodes, creating the equivalent of a 60-pixel display for your brain to interpret. And instead of an external camera, the vision-restoring sensor is placed inside the eye on top of the retina. The operation only takes 30 minutes and can be performed under local anaesthetic. The BioRetina places a 576-pixel sensor right on top of your damaged retina, and the electrodes at the back of the sensor implant themselves into the optic nerve. An embedded image processor converts the data from each of the pixels into electrical pulses that are then coded in such a way that the brain can perceive different levels of grayscale. So, not quite the $6 million man, but we're getting there. Sticking with technology news, and apparently we have nanites now. The good, repair you on the inside kind, not the tick over the world kind. Researchers at the University of Florida have developed a nanoparticle that has shown 100% effectiveness in eradicating the hepatitis C virus in a laboratory setting. The nanoparticle, dubbed a nanozyme, consists of a backbone made of gold nanoparticles, and a surface with 2 biological components. One is an enzyme that attacks and kills the mRNA, which allows Hep C to replicate, while the other is a short string of DNA that identifies the disease and sends the enzyme off to kill it. And really the only bad thing about this news is that it's nowhere near human testing. It's only really been tested on lab mice thus far, and by the time it gets through all the red tape, we're talking 5+ years before it hits the general population. Kill all the Hep C. Moving on to movie news. And while it's sort of old news, because it involves Assassin's Creed and Michael Fassbender, I kind of feel I have to talk about it. It's been whispered about for a while now, but it's possible we're seeing a push towards making an Assassin's Creed movie. Fassbender has signed on with his own production company to co-produce and star in the film adaptation. And before you say it, I'm aware that when it comes to video game movies, history doesn't exactly speak well of them. But the same could be said for the first few times people tried to turn comic books into movies. Albeit to a lesser extent, but look how that turned out. Fassbender's involvement in this movie could very well be a turning point in a corner of the market that's never exactly glowed in the past. On top of being a top-flight actor, he's pretty choosy about his projects. Similarly, you sort of get the impression Ubisoft's being very protective about how this franchise is brought to the big screen. There's obviously still a long way to go in terms of who'd write and direct it, and which assassin's story would be told, or whether it'd even be someone new. But this is really the best possible start this movie could have gotten. And our other piece of movie news for this week is that Finding Nemo 2 has been confirmed by Pixar, and Andrew Stanton is on board to direct. Many of you may remember that Stanton is the man behind John Carter. You know, that movie that lost $200,000 and was basically Avatar on Mars? Yep, that one. However, it would seem he's no longer in the directorial doghouse, as he's officially on board now and apparently has a concept the studio loves. And in his defence, before John Carter, Stanton won 2 Oscars for WALL-E and the original Finding Nemo, which grossed a total of $867 million worldwide, as well as being involved in a host of Pixar's other successes. As for Finding Nemo 2, very little is known. A 2016 release date is expected, but nothing is known of the story. Personally, I'm hoping they go with the fact that Nemo is a clownfish and sighted many years later. Nemo is now the alpha male of his school, and the female dies. And Nemo, being a clownfish, must change gender and become the female of the school. The film deals with Nimona finding out who she is in this big wide ocean. Coming to you 2016. And guys, our final story of the week is that in the early hours of Friday morning, 24-year-old James Holmes entered the back entrance to the Century 16 movie theatre in Aurora, Colorado. He's reported to have been wearing armour and a gas mask, brandishing 2 pistols, an AK and a shotgun, and began to shoot wildly into the audience at the midnight showing of The Dark Knight Rises. Witnesses reported hearing gunfire and seeing a man throw gas canisters into the crowd, mistaking it for extra theatrics the theatre had put on. Holmes was apprehended minutes after the shooting at his white Hyundai parked behind the theatre. He did not resist arrest. As of the making of this video, 12 people have been reported dead and numbers of 50+ have been injured. Police are still having trouble entering his booby-trapped apartment and have opted to send a robot in to figure out how to defuse the number of devices reported to be inside. Outside of Colorado, director of The Dark Knight Rises Christopher Nolan, as well as a number of cast members, have opted to cancel their press interviews. And Nolan has released the following statement. "The movie theatre is my home. The idea that someone would violate that innocent and hopeful place in such an unbearably savage way is devastating to me." And then of course we have to talk about politicians and the media. with one Republican in Texas saying the shooting was an attack on Judeo-Christian values, and questioned why no one in the crowd fought back. And guys, the one good thing I hope comes from this, if you can even call it that, is that the media hopefully won't cover this story any more than it has to be. Just treat it like the Oslo shootings and don't give him the coverage or attention or make him a martyr to others. But guys, that's all I have to say for now. Remember that these are just my opinions. What about your opinion in the comments below? In the photo bar you might find some videos I liked and or they made me lol. For more of my random thoughts and things from day to day, you can always follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/con. Don't forget to click the like button, tell your friends, share this video on Facebook and Twitter, and by all means subscribe if you haven't already. And if you really want to, you can check out this video the guys over at Moving Left made for Film Rights Monday Challenge. It's me mugging a Sith Lord, check it out. But for now, my name is Connor Broderick and that's what I thought you'd like to know. Nandoandgabe.